Hi everyone, welcome to the Cosmic Busker. My name is Bobby Cody. This video is a follow-up to one of my previous videos called Why Our Solar System is So Strange and Unique, the Exploding Planet Hypothesis. In that video, I proposed that two planets had been destroyed in our solar system's ancient past. I offered evidence that has been given by a scientist by the name of Tom Van Flandern that a planet had once existed where our asteroid belt currently is, between Mars and Jupiter, and that this planet had been destroyed in this cataclysm, and that the asteroid belt is the shattered remnants of this former planet. If you haven't seen that video yet, so I'm going to provide a link below. You can click on that, watch that video for a little bit of background, and then you can come back to this video if you'd like. Watch this one. Now, the second planet that suffered a life-destroying catastrophe was Mars. Not surprisingly, Mars is a planet that's named after the god of war, Mars. However, in my previous Exploding Planet video, I didn't offer much evidence regarding the catastrophe that befell the ancient civilization that once existed on Mars. So in this video, I'm going to go over some of that evidence with you and offer some testimony in the form of an interview with John Brandenburg. I'm going to go over John Brandenburg's bona fides right now to show you what an esteemed scientist he is, and that when Brandenburg states that there was a destruction on Mars, his qualifications make it important that we listen to what he has to say. So let's go over John Brandenburg's bona fides right now, and then we'll go into his theory. The man credited with discovering the evidence for a nuclear weapon detonation that destroyed Mars is John Brandenburg, PhD. John Brandenburg is a plasma physicist who graduated from UC Davis and who has worked with NASA, the American Space Agency, so he has excellent qualifications. Brandenburg's fields of expertise are particle physics, general relativity, differential geometry, special and general relativity, theoretical particle physics, gravitational physics, high-energy physics theory, field theory, fundamental physics, theoretical high-energy physics, astroparticle physics, high-energy physics phenomenology, physical cosmology, electrodynamics, classical mechanics, quantum gravity, and unified theories. John Brandenburg has written a book on his hypothesis. It's called Death on Mars, the Discovery of a Planetary Nuclear Massacre. The book summary is as follows: new proof of a nuclear catastrophe on Mars in an epic story of discovery. Strong evidence is presented for a dead civilization on Mars and the shocking reason for its demise. An ancient planetary scale nuclear massacre, leaving isotopic traces of vast explosions that endure to our present age. The story, told by a wide range of Mars data, is now clear. Mars was once Earth-like in climate, with an ocean and rivers, and for a long period became home to both plant and animal life, including a humanoid civilization. Then, for unfathomable reasons, a massive thermonuclear explosion ravaged the centers of the Martian civilization and destroyed the biosphere of the planet. Now, John Brandenburg has proposed that elevated levels of the Xenon-129 isotope in the Martian atmosphere are the leftover chemical signatures of a nuclear explosion on Mars that he believed wiped out an ancient civilization on Mars. Here's an interview with John Brandenburg, courtesy of Gaia.com's program Beyond Belief. The interviewer is George Norrie, doing the interview there. In this interview, Brandenburg discusses how he was first exposed to the evidence of a nuclear war on Mars. Let's listen in.
To Mars, the Cold War could end, and this intense nuclear standoff could end peacefully, And because
As opposed to what might have happened there.
Right. And I was then investigating Mars, and I was reading up a Mars article. In those days you had to Xerox everything. So I'm standing in the library at Sandia Labs, which was a wonderful place, by the way, full of really wonderful professional people. I'm standing in line to use the Xerox machine to get a scientific article on Mars. And it was about Mars' atmosphere. And Mars' atmosphere is loaded with a peculiar isotope called xenon-129. And I commented, and it made it different than any other place in the solar system. It's very different from Earth, the solar wind, the moon, the meteorites, all are very different from Mars in terms of isotopes of xenon. And I mentioned this to this fellow I was standing next to in line, and he said, "Let me see that." And he looked at it, and he had this amazed look on his face, and he said, "Someone nuked them."
Whoa, just like that?
Just like that. And he looked at me, and he said it a second time. That means someone nuked them.
And he was dead serious.
He was dead serious. And then since we were an unclassified part of the lab, it was just the library, he suddenly said, "Pardon me," and he excused himself. And what that meant is that he had...
Now, as eminently qualified as John Brandenburg is to make the determination that there was a nuclear detonation on Mars that destroyed civilization on the planet, he did seek out experts with more knowledge than he did. Let's listen into the interview again and hear what he has to say regarding that.
Very, very possible, isn't it?
Yes. The nuclear weapons experts I have shown this to just say, yes, you've got it right. But they said, don't quote me in public.
Did they blow themselves up from within the...
Now, one might believe that this is information that the government did not want to make public. The fact is that in cases like this of information that overturns the current paradigm, scientific paradigm, the government has had somewhat of what you might call a schizophrenic stance while maintaining in public that this information is not correct, invalid, spurious. Behind channels, it seems that they're actually encouraging scientists who are courageous enough to come out with this information to disseminate it to the public, to get the public aware of this information. This isn't just in this one case, this is in other cases as well. But here's Brandenburg speaking about some back channels that the government's attempted to have him disseminate this information to the public, while publicly they say, "Oh, no, I don't know," or they just don't discuss it. They encouraged him to publish this information. Here's that interview with Brandenburg again.
Right.
And the face of Mars is the NASA logo, term for the face at Cydonia.
Is it conceivable, and I have to ask you directly, may you be part of the government's program to leak this information to us?
I apparently am. An unwitting, clueless part of it, I will say that. All I'm saying is that we informed the Defense Intelligence Agency, Vince DiPietro and I, when we found this evidence. And after 6 months, they got back to us through channels and said, "Why don't you publish it?"
Wow.
Yes.
So they basically endorsed your work.
Right. They basically...
John, that's huge.
In a very unofficial kind of back channel way.
Almost like saying, let's let him do it, we don't have to do it, and just let it...
Right. In a very deniable fashion, they basically turned me loose.
Kind of hands off on their part.
But I do believe that...
And finally, John Brandenburg offers what this information means to humanity. I'll let him tell it in his own words in this George Norrie interview.
One always creates enemies when one announces some new discovery.
If all this happened the way you have unfolded it,
yes,
what does that mean to us? on this
It
planet?
means the human race is not an aberration on the cosmos. It's part of its fabric.
Is there a warning for us?
Oh, absolutely. The same thing that happened on Mars could happen to us. We could do it to ourselves, which is one of my deep
Concerns?
fears.
It
I
won't take
have
much.
I have 3 children and 2 grandchildren. I want them to grow up free of the fear of nuclear war. But at the same time, we must become spacefaring. We can't just sit here and wait for something like happened to Mars, happen here. Somebody from outside the solar system comes here, decides that we're too noisy, we're too threatening, and decides to put an end to us.
Robert Oppenheimer,
Beyond reproach, the exploded planet hypothesis appears to be very, very accurate theory about how our solar system came to be, in particular because it's so unique and so strange. In the future videos, I'm also going to talk about that exploded planet that is between Mars and Jupiter, the asteroid belt. We believe that there was a civilization on that planet. It wasn't an accident that the planet exploded. It was a matter of warfare, and that planet was destroyed. And it appears that that isn't the first time that has happened in our solar system as well. We believe that at least, aside from Earth, we believe that there have been at least 2 other planets that had civilizations in our solar system, and both of them destroyed themselves. So that's a warning to us, and what could be a potential future unless we get our act together and figure out how to live amongst ourselves and other life forms in peace. So thanks for watching this. I'll be posting more videos that will continue this theme and enlarge upon it. This information doesn't come about out of the blue. There's a whole load of supporting information that will change the way we view ourselves and our solar system, our civilization, and everything that we know. Thanks for listening, and everybody have a great day.